So in today's video, we're looking at the Magic Keyboard for the iPad Pro. So, this is a product I really wanted to love. And in some ways, I do really love it. But to me, it has a vital flaw which makes it very difficult to recommend. Let me explain. So let's take a look at some of the good aspects of the Magic Keyboard. The first thing to say is it has a lovely typing experience. I would say in some ways it's even more comfortable than the bigger keyboards in the full-size laptops. It feels like I can really type quite fast in this kind of small space. The keys have great travel. It's super comfortable in my opinion to type on. The trackpad is surprisingly, to me, I think it's quite surprising considering the size. It works very well. I mean, it can feel a bit short at times. You know, if you have it on your lap, it can feel like it's a bit too close to your body. If that makes sense. Another pro to me is that, you know, it feels good in the hand. You know, when you carry it around, to me anyway, it feels good in the hand. It's quite convenient and easy to connect it to the iPad Pro. You know, you just literally just slide it on. There is no great deal of connecting or putting covers on things, and so it is very convenient in that aspect. Now, the thing everybody talks about with the Magic Keyboard when it came out was that price, and there's no getting around it. The price, some people find offensive, but I think the price is there because of the context. If you're using it to replace your laptop, to add to your iPad Pro to replace your laptop, the price doesn't look too bad once you consider everything. It'll come around to maybe just under £1,000, depending on which iPad Pro you buy. So it doesn't look super bad at that point, but it is still a lot. $300, £300, it's a lot of money. Now for that price, you would be hoping that, you know, you maybe even get some protection for your iPad Pro in terms of, you know, if you accidentally drop it, that, you know, the keyboard case will protect it. But that's not the case here. The case doesn't protect it from drops really at all. So, you know, for that price, you would really expect a little bit more protection, or, you know, more consideration around that. And to follow on from that, it's also, there is no place to put the pencil, which again, for that price, it has to be mentioned in the context of the price. For that price, you really should have a place where you can put a pencil. If you put this in your bag, the pencil will be lost. Well, there's a good chance it will fall off. And even just generally, there's a good chance it can fall off because just magnets are keeping it. The last con I would say is the weight. So there's no way of getting around this. This does add considerable weight to your iPad. And I feel like, for me, when people talk about weight in tech, I always kind of feel like it's a bit silly because, you know, we can all lift it. It's not that we're not saying that it can't be, you know, you can't hold it, it's too heavy to hold. That's not what people are saying. But I think the problem with the iPad Pro and the Magic Keyboard combination is the difference between just the iPad and the iPad and Magic Keyboard is pretty significant. Like the iPad Pro just feels like a nice light piece of software. Once you add the keyboard to it, it really feels chunky and hefty. So I think the problem is not so much the overall weight that's added to it, but it's just the contrast between what it actually is by itself and then what it is compared with the Magic Keyboard. So it makes it feel much heavier. Okay, so I mentioned in the beginning of the video that there's a fatal flaw in terms of using this, you know, Magic Keyboard. Now, for me, the problem with the Magic Keyboard is, who is it for? Now, if the Magic Keyboard is just for somebody who wants to use a keyboard accessory for their iPad Pro, it's not worth £300, and it's kind of not worth your time, in my opinion. Now, if it's for somebody who wants to replace their laptop with an iPad Pro, you can start to think, okay, we're getting to the point where it could be workable for somebody. It's still a bit it's still a bit iffy because you're probably better off just buying a laptop. Now, this is a personal preference on my point of view, but the good thing about a tablet is it's light, it's kind of maneuverable, it's versatile, and once you add it to the Magic Keyboard, it takes away from a lot of the magic of the tablet, in my opinion. Because once you put it onto the Magic Keyboard, it's a laptop. And then you don't really want to interact with the touchscreen the way you would if it wasn't on there. It's hard to explain, it's a bit hard for me to explain. But put it this way, if you're going to be using the Magic Keyboard 80% of the time, if you're going to be using the Magic Keyboard and the iPad Pro 80% of the time as a laptop, I would say fair enough, it could be worth it. It's still really pricey. Maybe look at other options. If you're using it, for example, 80% of the time as a tablet, and then maybe the other 20%, maybe you're typing emails, don't buy this. Just don't. Because for that price, it's not worth it. Just tap on the screen or buy a really cheap one or connect a external Bluetooth keyboard. There isn't, in my opinion, the need to spend $300, £300 on a very expensive accessory. So what I did was, for a couple weeks, I put my Magic Keyboard away in a box, and I just basically wanted to see if I would reach for it. And to be honest, in that 2-week period, I never did. I just liked using the iPad as it was. It's just light, it's easy. You just pick it up, put it down. You obviously miss the being able to type quickly, but for me, I don't think it's worth it for the normal person. And because it can't really replace your laptop, it's in a really funny position. And maybe version 2, Apple will make the changes, make it lighter, think about the weight distribution, make it cheaper, find a place to put the pencil. Then maybe, and also if iPad OS matures a bit more and is more usable as a laptop, then maybe this can start to be worth, that £200, £300 price tag. But for me, right now, I don't think it's worth getting. I think it's a very niche group of people who, like I did, wanted to replace their laptop with an iPad Pro. And if you are that person, look, you're gonna buy this anyway, so you don't need me to tell you that. But for the average consumer, I don't think you should buy the Magic Keyboard. If you found that useful, please comment, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.